Hi guys, Tom from Video Game Music Theory here. Today we're going to go into our second part of our talk about Twisted Streets, the track from the Bastion soundtrack. And what we're going to be doing today is something I like to call theory and practice, which is where we're going to take the concepts that we discussed in our previous video, which I will link to right here in the comments below and in the annotation. And we're going to take these concepts and we're going to take a look at them and how we can apply them to our own writing and use them in our own style. Now what I have for you here today is a composition I wrote up just a little while ago. I've lovingly entitled it Groovy Streets, as you'll see. And what I'm going to do is go down this list of, this little laundry list of qualities that I listed from Twisted Streets, and I'm going to show you guys how I applied them to my own writing. Firstly, we're going to talk about this melodic bassline ostinato. And in the, let's actually pull that up. Open recent file, Twisted Streets. If you see here, it has this kind of lyrical, singy bass line. It's dee da dee da dee. And what I did is, instead of having such a sing-songy bass line, I kind of went with a little, like a hip, groovy one. But it's just as melodic in its own way. And it's like a boom. When you hear it be played, you'll hear how catchy it is and how it draws you into the piece immediately as its own introduction, very much like in Twisted Streets. Minimalist accompaniment. This one I kind of branched out a little bit. I didn't go as minimalist as the original piece. The original piece, if you remember, only had thirds and sevenths in the guitar. Here I went with some extended harmony voicings. This is a minor 9 chord over A minor, going to a dominant 9 chord over, what is it, D major? Yeah. The harmonic background of my piece is, again, just going to be based on an ostinato over 2 chords, which is A minor, and the first 2 bars going to D major. And what that does is it creates a Dorian feel, something pretty common in game music. So I decided to take it and run with it today. Hints of hemiola. This is something that I think I didn't discuss as much as I would have liked in the last video, but that video, if you remember that piece, I'll pull it up again. It's in 3, and usually you feel it in like the 1, 2, 3, D, D, and then the second bar adds in the 1, 2, 3, 1, and 2, and 1, 2, 3, 1, and 2, and in my piece I incorporated hemiola in a little bit of a different way. When we go over to my B section, you can see the I have 2. Instead of going with just I think Twisted Streets only had 2 flutes. In my piece I use a trumpet and a tenor sax for the melody, and that lets me do different lines. And here, in this part, in the A section, they are moving together. In the B section, they're moving very apart. While the trumpet in the B section is just doing a rising whole note pattern, which acts as like the soaring melody here. The tenor sax, it's doing a different kind of accompanying pattern, which is a also rising. This whole section is rising, building tension as it's going to break down, and once you get to bar 29. And what this does is it creates a different hemiola rather than this 3 against 2. It creates the patterns of 3 against the 4, which is always present. So it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. Something like that. Minimal melodic material. Again, we saw that a little bit in the A section. It's very much just like dee da doo da dee dee da da dee doo doo. What I did differently than in Twisted Streets is, in Twisted Streets, I believe they kept the melodic content to contain to 1 repetition of the one ostinato. So the ostinato is 4 bars long, And the melody is dee da 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 da, and it repeats again. In my piece here, the ostinato is just as long. It's only 4 bars, but we're in a cut time feel, so it feels like 2 bars. It feels a lot faster. In my piece here, the melody actually extends over 2 repetitions. It lets me do a little bit more with the phrasing, and it lets me be a little bit more, what's the best way to put it? It lets me be a little bit more deliberate with where I want to go with the melody. And so, my last point here is it all adds up to a track that does not get in the way of the groove. And in my track here, I kind of create a very different feel of groove. And you'll hear it when I play it. It's definitely got its own feel. Like, my drum writing is not very good, first of all, I'm going to say that right off the bat, but I've sort of created a 3-2 clave here, which I don't know if you know what that means, but in Latin jazz, it's that, you've probably heard it before, where you'll hear like a da 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 da, and you'll hear it as the drums play, and that really drives this whole piece forward. So I hope that helps you guys in your own writing think of how to apply some music theory concepts. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to play this track for you to close out the video, and if you want, I'm going to make it available to download off of my SoundCloud page, and I'll link that in the comments below, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Give it a listen. Thanks for listening. I'll see you guys next time.